you ever felt that, that familiar knot tighten in your stomach when an English conversation suddenly turns to you? That overwhelming urge to just stay quiet, even though you understand every word being spoken. Maybe you know all the grammar rules, maybe you've studied for years, but then when it's time to actually open your mouth and talk, it's like, whew,
Yeah.
this frustrating mental block just freezes your tongue. If that sounds familiar, believe me, you are absolutely not alone. In fact, it's one of the most common hurdles English learners face. But here on the deep dive, we're here to tell you, you really don't need to feel that way anymore. Today, our mission is to do a deep dive into 15 truly practical, really effective, and honestly, surprisingly stress-free tips. These are designed to radically improve your English confidence and fluency. And we're not talking about, endless vocabulary lists or those dry grammar drills. No. Our sources for this deep dive reveal methods that actually work in real life. They're grounded in how the brain really acquires language. We've meticulously combed through the research, distilled the absolute best insights, and we're ready to guide you through this engaging, actionable journey. It's specifically crafted to help you break through those barriers.
Yeah, it's truly fascinating how often learners hit this wall. Even learners with a really strong foundational grasp of English. Traditional learning methods, they often emphasize the analytical knowledge, right? Memorizing rules, perfect conjugation. But they frequently overlook the dynamic, the spontaneous nature of real-time communication. And that disconnect is precisely why those feelings of frustration and freezing are just so incredibly common. But the compelling news, and this is what our sources consistently highlight, is that these 15 tips are genuinely simple. They're incredibly effective. And they're designed for practical application. Even if your daily schedule is packed, they really focus on unlocking your innate capacity for language, not just piling on more knowledge.
And that's what makes this deep dive so exciting, I think. We're going to move beyond the conventional, really diving into the cognitive science and the practical strategies that actually reshape your relationship with English. We'll explore how to transform it from, a subject you study into a skill you actually live. So let's unpack these insights. Let's start with what our sources suggest might be the most fundamental shift in how you approach English. It's about building a really robust, natural foundation, not just patching up a shaky structure.
Indeed, yeah. And the very first tip, it might surprise some people with its simplicity, but it actually underpins so much of successful language acquisition.
That's right. Tip number 1, listen first, then speak. And this isn't just a suggestion. Our sources say it is, without a doubt, the absolute cornerstone of building your English foundation. And here's where it gets really interesting, as the sources emphasize. Think about how babies learn their first language. They don't arrive knowing verb conjugations, right? Or memorizing word lists. For months, sometimes even over a year, they are just pure sponges. Immersed in a world of sounds, they listen. They absorb, they tune their ears to the rhythms, the tones, the intonation patterns of their native tongue, long before they even utter their first coherent word. And this isn't passive, it's really active brain mapping going on. We need to mirror that incredibly powerful, natural, organic process when we're learning English.
Right, this concept, it's often highlighted by linguists. So you mentioned Dr. Stephen Krashen earlier, his input hypothesis. It's about what we call implicit learning. So when you consistently expose yourself to English sounds, the natural rhythm, the rise and fall of intonation, native pronunciation in your brain, it's quite remarkable, actually. It begins to pick up grammar and vocabulary patterns unconsciously. It's almost like your subconscious mind is building this huge statistical map of the language. You're not actively trying to decode every single word, especially not at first. Instead, you're just letting the soundscape of the language wash over you, allowing your auditory system to really attune itself. Our sources present some compelling research here. There was one study, for instance, that tracked advanced learners, and it found that those who engaged in high-volume, pleasurable listening activities, even without explicit grammar focus, they showed a 20% greater improvement in grammatical intuition, and using idioms compared to a control group that focused solely on explicit grammar rules.
Wow, 20%, that's significant.
It really is. It's a surprising finding that challenges that traditional grammar-first approach. Your brain is being primed, it's recognizing patterns, not just isolated words, and that's crucial for authentic fluency.
And the beauty of this foundational input is just how accessible the practical applications are.
Right.
We're talking about simple, daily activities. They require minimal effort but yield these immense results, like tune into English podcasts during your commute or while you're doing chores, maybe even as background noise during your workout. Put on English songs, and here's a pro tip from our sources for an added bonus. Read the lyrics while you listen.
Oh, that's a great one.
Yeah, it creates this powerful multisensory connection. Sound and written word together makes it much more fun, more emotionally engaging too. Watch your favorite movies or YouTube videos in English. Even if you're just letting it play in the background, your brain is doing incredible work, just absorbing the nuances of spoken English. This isn't passive at all. It's this profound foundational input that reshapes your auditory processing. It sets the stage for everything else. You're essentially building that crucial internal sound library that will eventually guide your own speech. Okay, so with that incredible power of implicit learning priming your brain, the next logical frontier, and maybe the scariest one for many, is actually opening your mouth. Which brings us neatly to tip number 2, speak without fear. Our sources consistently identify fear as, well, one of the biggest emotional hurdles. That pervasive fear of being judged, the fear of making mistakes, the anxiety of not sounding perfect. And let me tell you, that fear, it's a master at keeping you silent. It locks away all that knowledge you've worked so hard to acquire. But we have to challenge this idea directly.
Right, this is where we need to drop what our sources call a truth bomb. Mistakes are not failures. Not at all. In fact, they are indisputable, undeniable proof that you are learning, that you're actively engaging with the language. Every single mistake is a data point. It's crucial feedback. It's a signpost on your journey toward fluency. And this isn't just a feel-good platitude. Cognitive science backs this up. Our sources dig into what they call error correction cycles, this profound idea that your brain actually learns more efficiently when it identifies and corrects an error.
Interesting. Like learning from failure, almost.
Exactly. Think about how a child learns to walk. They fall thousands of times, right? But each fall provides crucial proprioceptive feedback, telling their brain how to adjust balance and musculature. In language, that fall is a mistake. When you make a mistake and then you either self-correct or maybe receive some gentle constructive correction, your neural pathways for that specific grammar structure or pronunciation are actually strengthened more profoundly than if you'd gotten it right the first time just by luck.
So mistakes actually make the learning stick better?
In a way, yes. This isn't just theory. Studies have shown learners who are encouraged to make mistakes and experiment rather than fear them, they achieve higher fluency rates long term. Precisely because they're engaging in more of these vital correction cycles. The crucial point here, as our sources emphasize, is practicing without worrying about perfection. The moment you release that pressure, your confidence starts to bloom, making space for genuine improvement.
Absolutely. So what does this all mean for you, the listener? It means you need to start speaking. The data is clear. Consistent output is just as vital as consistent input. Start by speaking to yourself, seriously. Narrate your day loud. Describe what you're doing, what you see, what you feel. Okay, I'm making coffee now. The sky is blue today, perfect contrast to the clouds yesterday. Thinking about what to have for dinner, maybe that new recipe I saw online. It might feel strange at first, maybe a little awkward, but it builds comfort in using your voice, in forming sentences on the fly. Then, extend this. Speak with friends, even if they're also English learners. The point isn't to be grammatically flawless from day one, it's simply to activate that part of your brain, to push through the initial discomfort. The more you speak, the more natural and confident you will become. Each utterance, no matter how small or imperfect, it builds muscle memory in your mouth and brain. And critically, it reinforces your belief in your own ability. Remember, every single native speaker was once a baby making countless mistakes on their way to fluency. This leads us beautifully into tip number 3. Think in English. This is a truly powerful cognitive shift. Our sources highlight this as dramatically increasing your speaking speed and fluidity. We see so many learners fall into this common but ultimately really inefficient habit. They think in their native language, then they mentally translate every single word, phrase, or sentence into English before they speak. This whole multi-step translation process, it creates a significant delay. It slows you down, makes conversations feel clunky, hesitant, unnatural. It's like trying to navigate a city by consulting 2 different maps for every single turn.
That's a critical point. It really delves into cognitive load theory. If we expand on this a bit, thinking directly in English actually bypasses an entire resource-intensive processing step in your brain. When you translate, your brain is performing 2 distinct sequential operations. First, native language thought formation, then a separate English translation process.
Right, 2 steps instead of 1.
Exactly. And it's not just slow, it exhausts your mental resources. It leads to fatigue and reduced fluency over longer conversations. Our sources mention studies using fMRI scans that track brain activity in proficient bilinguals. They found that individuals who could switch fluently between languages showed significantly less prefrontal cortex activation, that's the area linked with executive function, effortful processing when thinking directly in their target language.
So it's literally less work for the brain.
Much less work. A much more efficient, less taxing mental process. Take that simple example from the source. When you're hungry, don't think "a mi chiede piace" and then translate it. Just directly access the concept and express it. I'm hungry. The immediacy of that thought-to-expression pathway is transformative. To start, you can begin with really simple thoughts. Label objects around you in English silently at first, maybe then aloud. Internally narrate simple actions. I'm opening the door. This coffee smells good. As you get more comfortable, you can gradually build up the complexity. Move from single words or short phrases to full sentences, even abstract concepts. This practice trains your brain to connect concepts directly with their English equivalents, rather than going through that linguistic middleman. It dramatically reduces cognitive friction.
It truly is like building a direct neural superhighway in your brain, isn't it? Cutting out the scenic, winding detour. It takes conscious practice, absolutely, but the payoff in speed, naturalness, and just reduced mental fatigue is immense. And this brings us to what I believe is an absolutely crucial, overarching truth. It underpins every other tip we're going to discuss. It's tip number 15 from our original source material, but we're repositioning it here because it's such a foundational mindset to adopt from day one. Maybe the most critical insight for sustained success. Focus on consistency, not perfection.
Oh, absolutely. This is the core of sustainable learning, and frankly, sustainable anything in life. The truth, as our sources emphatically state, is that you don't need to be perfect. Perfection is this elusive, often paralyzing goal. It can lead to burnout and just giving up. What you do need to do is keep showing up consistently. Imagine trying to get in shape.
Yeah.
Would you rather work out for 3 grueling hours once a week or for a manageable 10 minutes every single day?
Definitely the 10 minutes daily. That feels achievable.
Exactly. And research in habit formation consistently shows that even that short, consistent daily effort is far more effective. Our sources powerfully state that even 10 minutes of practice daily is better than 3 hours once a week. And this isn't just about the total hours, it's about the consistent firing of neural pathways and the powerful compounding effect of habit formation. What's truly compelling here is the neuroscientific principle. It's called long-term potentiation. Basically, repeated, consistent activation of specific neural circuits strengthens those connections.
So each little practice session builds on the last one.
Precisely. Each small, regular interaction with English reinforces what you've learned, keeps the language fresh in your mind, builds momentum, and makes the language feel less foreign, more ingrained. Fluency doesn't magically appear after one marathon study session. It emerges from regular small habits, not from long, exhausting, infrequent lessons. It's about building a daily rhythm with English, making it a natural, almost effortless part of your life, like brushing your teeth. That gradual, consistent accumulation of micro-improvements, that's the real secret sauce.
Okay, so with that crucial mindset in place, listen first, speak without fear, think in English, and above all, embrace radical consistency over elusive perfection. Let's move on. Let's talk about how you can weave English naturally into the fabric of your everyday life. This isn't about setting aside special study time necessarily, but integrating it seamlessly into what you already do. Our next tip, number 4, is all about using English in daily life. The concept here is profoundly simple. Language truly becomes a part of you. It becomes embodied when you integrate it into your most common, most mundane, everyday activities. It's not just something you learn from a book, it becomes something you live.
Precisely. Yeah, this trains your brain to think and function in English in a highly practical, immediate context. You're essentially turning your entire environment into a language lab. Instead of language being this abstract subject, it becomes a functional tool for navigating your reality. Our sources offer excellent, specific, practical examples. These are drawn from methods used in immersive language schools. Start by labeling items around your room. Write mirror on a sticky note, put it on your mirror.
Simple, but I can see how that would work.
Do the same for your door, your toothbrush, your bedside table cupboard. Just seeing these words in your environment, unconsciously, constantly reinforces vocabulary without conscious effort. Studies show this constant visual priming can significantly improve recall and recognition speed. And even more powerfully, start describing your actions aloud as you do them. I'm washing the dishes now, the water is quite warm. I'm getting dressed for work, need to pick out a shirt. Okay, I'm making coffee for myself, the aroma is wonderful.
Yeah.
This raises an important question. How can we turn our routine, mundane actions into powerful, consistent language practice without adding extra time?
Just by talking about them.
Exactly. By narrating your day, you're activating your English speaking centers in low-stakes, familiar situations. Builds confidence, automaticity. It's a form of self-talk that solidifies your understanding of common verbs and phrases in a real-world, highly relevant context. You're creating your own personal, constant immersion experience. It shifts language from an intellectual exercise to an integral part of your being.
That's truly ingenious because it's so immediate, needs zero extra equipment, takes virtually no extra time. It's just a subtle shift in how you perceive and articulate your own actions. Now, tip number 5, make English-speaking friends. This one, according to our research, is monumental, huge. If your only interaction with English speaking is in a classroom or just with textbooks, your growth is going to be incredibly slow, almost glacial. Our sources are very clear. You absolutely need real conversations, that authentic give and take to truly internalize and activate the language.
Oh, the irreplaceable value of authentic interaction.
Yeah.
It just cannot be overstated. Classrooms provide structure, sure, but real conversations provide immediate, spontaneous feedback that's impossible to replicate. They force you to think on your feet, react to unexpected turns in dialogue, manage interruptions.
Yeah, all the messy stuff of real talk.
Exactly. And truly understand nuance, idioms, pragmatic usage, those hidden rules of conversation. This is where language truly comes alive. Our sources offer excellent practical avenues for this, drawing from successful language exchange programs worldwide. Explore dedicated language exchange apps, things like Tandem, HelloTalk, Speaky. These platforms are designed to connect you with native speakers learning your language, creating this mutually beneficial exchange. You both act as guides for each other. And don't overlook online communities, specific Reddit groups for language exchange, or even hobby groups where English is the common language. Discussing shared passions makes it feel less like practice.
Turns learning into connection.
Precisely. And critically, as our sources highlight, even talking with another English learner is helpful. The goal isn't immediate perfection, it's consistent, genuine communication. It builds courage, adaptability, cultural understanding, far beyond what any textbook can offer. It's about building a language network for yourself.
Exactly. The more you put yourself in situations where you have to communicate, where the stakes are real, even if small, the faster you'll improve. And speaking of essential input, tip number 6, watch English shows with subtitles. This is such a highly enjoyable and remarkably effective method. Our sources call it a stealth learning technique because it just feels like entertainment.
It truly is active listening disguised as entertainment.
Yeah.
And the way our sources describe it, it's incredibly effective because it leverages both auditory and visual input simultaneously.
Yeah.
Here's how to really maximize this tip based on neuro-linguistic programming ideas. First, pick your favorite shows, movies, whatever, in English. Watch them with English subtitles.
English subtitles, not native language ones.
Yeah.
Got it.
Crucial first step because it helps you create this powerful cognitive link.
Yeah.
You connect the spoken words you hear with the written words you see. Your brain starts mapping sounds to their visual representations, solidifying vocabulary, spelling, even grammar in context. Sources cite studies showing this dual input significantly improves comprehension and retention. Then, once you've watched an episode or a scene with subtitles and you feel reasonably comfortable with the content, try watching it again, this time without any subtitles.
Okay, that sounds harder.
It might feel challenging at first, yeah. You might miss more than you expect. But consistently doing this dramatically improves your listening comprehension. Your brain is forced to rely solely on auditory cues. It sharpens its ability to pick out individual words, understand different accents, grasp the overall meaning without those visual crutches. It's a powerful immersion technique you can do right from your couch. Systematically reinforcing pronunciations and natural speech patterns, it transitions your brain from decoding to direct comprehension.
It's all about pushing that comprehension boundary just a little bit, isn't it? And then reaping those massive rewards as your brain adapts.
Now for our next tip, number 13. This might seem small, but according to our sources, it packs a surprisingly significant punch for building low-stakes confidence. Chat in English, even if it's just text. Sometimes the pressure of speaking face-to-face or on a call, it can be daunting. Text communication offers a gentler, more forgiving entry point into active English use.
What's really compelling here, as the sources emphasize, is just how incredibly accessible this practice is. It's literally right there in your pocket. Switching your casual chats with friends or your social media comments to English even just for a few sentences a day can make a tremendous difference. This method builds comfort and fluency without that immediate pressure of live spoken conversation where you have to react instantly.
You get time to think. Exactly. You have precious time to think, to construct your sentences carefully, to self-correct. You can even quickly look up a word or phrase if you need to, using digital dictionaries. It's a low-stakes, self-paced environment for active production. The sources also strongly suggest creating group chats with other learners where everyone agrees to communicate only in English.
Oh, a dedicated English-only zone.
Yeah. It fosters this supportive, non-judgmental environment where you're all improving together, correcting each other collaboratively, building collective confidence through shared practice. It's consistent, unintimidating practice that reinforces your understanding of syntax, common expressions, even builds written fluency, which often translates back to more confidence in speaking. It's about making English a constant, quiet hum in your digital life.
Okay, so we've got the mindset, we've got ways to integrate English naturally, making your world an immersion zone. Let's now dive into some specific, powerful techniques to actively boost your speaking and comprehension. These are more targeted exercises that can really accelerate your progress by engaging different parts of your language processing centers. Kicking off this section, tip number 7, often described as a secret technique used by, well, elite language learners, even actors mastering accents, shadow native speakers. This isn't just listening, it's active vocal imitation. Apparently, it's remarkably effective.
Yes, shadowing is a powerhouse technique. It accelerates natural pronunciation, rhythm, intonation, drawing on principles of mimicry and motor learning. Here's the precise how-to as detailed in our sources, often used in professional vocal coaching. You play a short video or audio clip, could be a podcast, movie, YouTube news report, whatever. Then you pause after each sentence or maybe a very short, natural phrase. Your task. Repeat exactly how the speaker said it.
Exactly. Like everything.
Everything, yeah. Pay attention not just to the words, but critically their tone, their rhythm, their intonation, stress patterns, precise pronunciation. It's like copying their accent in real time, mimicking their vocal contours. This raises a profound question. How does mimicking accelerate naturalization? By physically reproducing the sounds and patterns, you're training your mouth and tongue muscles, your vocal cords, your brain to produce English sounds more accurately, more naturally, almost like a musician learning a new piece.
Right, training the physical mechanics.
Exactly. You'll find yourself sounding more fluent, more natural. Your speech gets that authentic, native-like flow. It bridges the gap between understanding and producing native-like speech. Makes what you say sound less like a direct translation, more like genuine expression. It's activating the speaker part of your brain.
That sounds incredibly effective for getting that natural cadence and flow. Building on actively producing language in a safe space, tip number 8 is simple but highly effective for self-coaching and tracking progress. Start a speaking journal. And this doesn't involve writing, it involves recording yourself, speaking about your day, even for just 2 minutes.
Yeah, this method offers dual benefits that our sources highlight as incredibly valuable for self-correction and tracking tangible progress. First, by consistently recording yourself speaking about civil, everyday topics like, today I went to the market, bought some vegetables, it was hot outside, so I came home quickly. You'll naturally find your sentences getting longer, more fluent over time. You're practicing constructing sentences on the fly, accessing vocabulary, linking ideas, the very essence of real, spontaneous conversation. Second, and maybe even more importantly for rapid improvement, a speaking journal gives you the invaluable ability to hear your own mistakes and fix them naturally.
Ha, the self-correction loop again?
Exactly. It's one thing for a teacher to point out an error. It's another entirely to hear it yourself, process it, then consciously work to correct it. Our sources emphasize this self-assessment loop is profoundly powerful for building lasting improvement and confidence. It transforms you into your own most effective, non-judgmental language coach. You develop an acute ear for your own inaccuracies and systematically improve pronunciation, grammar, vocabulary usage in a private, supportive environment. And over weeks and months listening back to earlier recordings, that can be a huge motivator. You'll audibly notice how much more fluid and confident your speech has become.
That's a fantastic way to develop critical self-awareness and self-correction, so often overlooked. Now, tip number 9. This addresses a common stumbling block and helps you sound much more natural. Learn phrases, not just words. We often get stuck trying to memorize individual words like make, take, or get in isolation. And while that's a start, our sources say it's nowhere near enough to sound natural or fluent.
You're absolutely right. The superior effectiveness of learning chunks or collocations or phrases, it stems from the fact that language isn't just a collection of individual words. It's a rich tapestry of established expressions, common partnerships, idiomatic uses. When you learn make, take, get on their own, you might struggle to combine them correctly or naturally. You end up creating sentences that are maybe grammatically correct but sound unnatural, like do a decision instead of make a decision.
Right, those little giveaways.
Exactly. But when you learn make a decision, take a shower, get ready as these prepackaged units, you're acquiring real expressions you'll actually use, complete with the correct prepositions, verb forms, common partners. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it's about acquiring natural idiomatic expressions and common word partnerships that native speakers use intuitively, almost without thinking. Our sources emphasize this approach not only makes your speech sound much more natural and fluid, but it also reduces cognitive load during speaking, because you're retrieving a whole phrase rather than constructing it word by painful word.
Less mental effort again.
Precisely. This dramatically expands your conversational repertoire, makes you sound more like a native speaker, lets you express complex ideas with greater ease and precision. It's like building a library of functional, ready-to-use linguistic Lego blocks.
That's such a practical tip for unlocking more natural, less effortful communication. And speaking of practical and accessible, tip number 10 makes learning incredibly convenient, even fun. Use English apps daily. We really do live in a golden age of language learning tools right at our fingertips, offering structured, engaging ways to practice.
Absolutely. Modern language learning apps, Duolingo, Busuu, Memrise, they've completely revolutionized and gamified language learning, made it incredibly engaging, easy to fit into short bursts throughout your day. But it's not just those dedicated apps. Even casual content platforms, YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Instagram Reels can offer daily, bite-sized exposure to new vocabulary, natural speech patterns, current slang. The core principle here, once again, is what our sources keep reiterating. Consistency beats intensity.
That 10 minutes a day thing again.
Exactly. Setting a goal of just 10-15 minutes per day, maybe during your commute, waiting in line during a short break, can lead to remarkable progress over time. These apps provide structured, incremental lessons. They reinforce grammar, expand vocabulary, offer quick pronunciation practice, and the sheer convenience of having them on your smartphone means fewer excuses to skip a day. It fosters that all-important habit of consistent engagement, which is, as we've discussed, the true path to sustainable fluency. It turns your phone from a potential distraction into a powerful, personalized language tutor.
It's all about making English a daily, manageable, almost effortless habit rather than some daunting task. And closely related to actively producing language, tip number 11 is read out loud every day. This isn't just about comprehension, which silent reading is great for. It's about physically producing the language and building vocal confidence.
This is a crucial distinction our sources highlight. While silent reading is undoubtedly helpful for vocab and comprehension, reading aloud specifically helps with pronunciation, rhythm, intonation, and fluency in a way silent reading just can't. When you read aloud, you're not just processing words internally, you're actively engaging your vocal cords, tongue, lips, breath to produce the sounds and sequences.
More muscle memory.
Exactly. Builds invaluable muscle memory for English sounds, intonation patterns, trains your articulators for fluid speech. Our sources suggest materials like short stories, engaging articles, even English news transcripts. The key is to read clearly and confidently, even if you're alone in your room. What's truly insightful here is how this bridges the gap between passive reading and active speaking. It's a safe, low-pressure space to practice articulation, to hear your own voice speaking English, and to gain confidence in your spoken abilities before you engage in real-time conversations. This regular practice makes you feel significantly more comfortable and assured when you have to speak to others, reduces that internal friction that often comes with spontaneous speech. It's like a vocal warm-up for your English muscles.
Fantastic. That's such a direct way to link the input of reading with the output of speaking. Moving on, tip number 12. Another highly focused, manageable daily goal for vocabulary expansion, but with a critical twist. Learn one word a day and use it. This isn't just about memorizing, it's about active, immediate integration into your productive vocabulary.
Yes. This tip highlights a critical second step that so many learners unfortunately miss. It renders their vocabulary efforts much less effective. It's not enough to just pick one new English word every day. The essential transformative part, as our sources strongly advocate, is to immediately and actively use that word in 5 different sentences on the same day.
5 sentences. Okay, that's specific.
It really is. Let's take that simple example from the source. If today's word is excited, you wouldn't just write it down or look up the definition. You would then construct sentences like, I'm excited about the weekend. She looks excited about her trip to Europe. The team was excited after their unexpected win. Are you excited for the concert tonight, or are you feeling tired? And I felt incredibly excited when I got the news about the new job. This method ensures the word is remembered permanently and moved into your active vocabulary because you've actively engaged with it in multiple varied contexts. forcing your brain to retrieve and apply it.
Making connections.
Exactly. Our sources explain this as creating multiple retrieval pathways for the word, solidifying its place in your mental lexicon. It moves the word from passive recognition to active usage. Helps you not only remember it, but also understand how to use it correctly and naturally in conversation, which is far more valuable than just knowing its definition. It's about building a muscle for active word recall.
That immediate application is truly what makes a new word stick, what transforms it from something you recognize to something you can effortlessly use. And finally, for our last active skill tip, leveraging modern tech in a truly game-changing way. Tip number 14, practice with AI or chatbots. This is a modern solution offering judgment-free, infinite practice for every learner.
This is an incredibly versatile and powerful tool, especially for those who feel self-conscious or anxious about practicing with native speakers initially. Our sources describe tools like ChatGPT, Replica, or dedicated English chatbot apps as offering this safe, private space for truly unlimited practice. Available 24/7. You can ask them questions about anything, literally anything. Complex scientific topics, the plot of a TV show. You can talk about your day, recount events, express feelings. You can even use them to practice specific high-stakes scenarios like a job interview, ordering food, rehearsing a presentation.
Like a tireless practice partner.
Exactly. And this raises a crucial question. How do these tools enable unlimited, low-stakes practice in a way traditional methods can't? The core, invaluable benefit: no one judges you. There's absolutely zero pressure of embarrassment, no fear of sounding silly. You could repeat yourself, correct your grammar or pronunciation, rephrase sentences, try again as many times as you like without any internal or external judgment. It's an invaluable, personalized practice partner ready whenever you are, helping you build confidence, fluency, a deeper understanding of conversational flow at your own pace without any social anxiety. It's a completely safe sandbox for linguistic experimentation.
So there you have it. We've journeyed through 15 simple, profoundly easy, and incredibly effective ways to radically improve your English without feeling overwhelmed. From shifting your foundational mindset to seamlessly integrating English into daily life, and then activating those skills with targeted, powerful techniques. We've covered a really comprehensive and science-backed path to genuine fluency. My strong encouragement to you right now as you've absorbed all this is this: don't try to implement all 15 tips today. Please don't, that would be overwhelming. Instead, choose just 2 or 3 tips, the ones that resonated most deeply with you or that feel easiest and most exciting to incorporate into your life right now. And start today. Implement them consistently. Then slowly, as you build confidence, as you truly see and feel the progress, you can gradually add more tips. Remember, every little step forward is still a step, and cumulative effort yields transformative results.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, remember that core, empowering message from all our sources. English is not a subject. It's not a set of rules to be memorized. It's a skill. And just like swimming, or cycling, or playing a musical instrument, the more consistently and actively you practice, the better you become. It's not about achieving a perfect score on some test. It's about developing a functional, intuitive ability that grows and strengthens with every single interaction, every spoken word, every moment of listening. So as you reflect on this deep dive, maybe consider this provocative thought. What if approaching English not as a fixed subject to be conquered, but as a living, breathing skill to be continuously honed and explored? What if that is the ultimate key? What if this shift in perspective is what unlocks not just fluency, but a whole new way of experiencing the world? A continuous journey of discovery that opens doors to new perspectives, richer connections, opportunities you haven't even imagined yet. It's really about empowering yourself to truly engage with a global community, not just passively observe it from the sidelines.
Keep speaking, keep listening, keep learning, and remember, you are improving every single day just by showing up and engaging with the language. You absolutely, unequivocally have got this.